Alright guys, so on my site unicast.com, I have set up some fancy little notifications. By default, notifications on Rails look pretty bad because there's no styling to them, and once they display, they don't go away until you refresh them. So on my site unicast.com, I have set it up so if a message is displayed to the user like so, it will show the message and then fade out after a few seconds. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to recreate this effect. So I have gone ahead and created a simple demo application with posts. But what we want to do is make it so like if a user signs in or signs out, the message they'll display will be nicely styled. So first off, let's add those stylings in. I'm just going to do a P with the class of notice and print out the notice, and then do the same for alert. So if I save that and refresh, you can see there's already an issue, is that if I inspect the element, the P class and notice are showing up, and they're using the styles of my application by default. To fix that, what I want to do is add some conditional Ruby around this. So let's do if notice will display this notice, else if alert, we will display the alert, and then let's end this at the bottom. So now if we go back and refresh, you can see it doesn't show up, but if I sign in, for example, do mckinsey@unicast.com and enter my password. There you go. You can see I have signed in successfully, but obviously there's no styling to this notification. It looks pretty bad, and also it just sits there until you either go to a new page or refresh. So first off, let's style this. So let me sign up so the notification shows up again. Let's first start by adding a div around the notice class. So I'm going to say div with the ID of notice wrapper. So I'll say notice underscore wrapper. And then let's move that notice p tag inside of the wrapper. And then I'm just going to copy this and move down and paste that in. And then change the notice with the alert. So if I save that and refresh, let me sign in again, mckinsey@unicast.com, enter my password. All right, the error or the message shows up again. So if I inspect the element, you can see the ID of notice wrapper div is around the P with the class of notice, which is perfect. So let's select the notice wrapper and let's add some styles to it. So I want to first off make sure that the alerts or notifications are on top of everything else. So to do that, we're going to make it a position of absolute. Let's make it top of 0. Let's make it a width of 100% to make sure it goes the full width of the viewport. And then obviously you can see it's hiding right now, and that is because the Z index, this header is on top of the notification. So to fix that, let's do a Z index of 999 to bring it on top of everything else. This is looking good. Now let's add a background color. I'm going to use the RGBA color. I'm just going to do the same color as I used in Unicast. So I'm going to do RGBA 135, 216, 211. And then RGBA stands for red, green, blue, and alpha. So the alpha is the opacity. So I'm going to do a 0.85. All right, so you can see on the links are slightly showing through, which is kind of what we want. I still want to see what's behind it. All right, that looks good. Now let's select the P tag with the class of notice, and let's add some padding to that. Padding, let's do, say, 1.75 rem and 0 on either side. That looks good. Now let's do a text align center. That looks good as well. Let's clean up the text too. So if I hover over that, you can see the text has a margin bottom. So let's get rid of that margin. Let's do margin of 0. So it only has, so it has the same amount on top and bottom. Then let's do a font size of, let's say 1.25 rem, make it a bit smaller. Well, we want this notification to be red, obviously, so let's make it a font weight of bold. I'll do font weight 700. Let's make it a color. Let's do color of white, so FFF, and that looks pretty good. Let's make it a bit, the padding a bit more, maybe 2.5 rem on either side, or on top and bottom. That looks pretty good to me. The text is a bit cramped. Let's do a letter spacing of 1 pixel. Much better. Cool, that looks good. So what I'm going to do is copy these styles. Let's just copy them, go into our application, go under App, Assets, Style Sheets, and Application.css, or whatever style sheet you are using. I'm just going to go up top and add the notification wrapper. Is that what it was called? Notice wrapper. Notice wrapper. All right, and let's add those styles in. Then let's grab the p tag, copy that, and under the background, let's add a p tag to target the text. And let me align that. Actually, let's change this to the .alert and .notification, or notice. That should be good. Let me refresh, sign out just to make sure that's still there, or the styles still work, which it does. Beautiful. This is looking great, but obviously on unicast, when we get the notification, it fades out after 4.5 seconds. So to do that, let's go back to our application.html.erb, and down at the bottom, we want this to be on every page. You could put it in a footer partial if you want, but for this demo, I'll just put it in the application template. I'm going to add a script tag down at the bottom right before the closing body tag, and we're going to write a little jQuery. So first off, let's put it in a document ready function, document.ready, and we'll do function, and then let's open up the tab. Oops, there we go. And let's put a closing semicolon there. All right, now inside of here, we want to do what is called a set timeout function, and let's add a closing semicolon there as well. So we are going to find the notice wrapper. So let's do notice underscore wrapper, and we're using the hashtag to grab the ID of notice wrapper. And then we're going to do a fade out function. And then in here, we're going to fade out slow. And then we're going to do another function. And then we are going to target this, this dot remove. So after we fade it out, we are going to remove the notice from the DOM. And then outside of the set timeout function, so right here, we are gonna do a comma, and let's do 4,500. And 4,500 is the time in milliseconds, so it's gonna be 4.5 seconds. So let's go back and see if that works. Let me sign in again. Beautiful. So let's test that again. Let me sign out. So after 4.5 seconds, it should fade out. Awesome. So that's perfect. So last thing let's just move this into the JS file. Copy that, save it, go to JavaScript application.js, and then remove the script. Tab it in. Let's make sure it still works. And it does. Beautiful. So this is just a bit better UI and UX because it still displays the notification in a nice way, but it doesn't stay there and cause the user to have to refresh or X out of it to get rid of it. It just shows it for a short amount of time, long enough for them to read it, and then it fades out. All right, guys, that is it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, just ask them in the comment section below.